rise for the playing of our national anthem, directed by Mr. Vizdos and played by the Polling Seminary Wind Ensemble. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Great job. You may all be seated. Members of the Poland Board of Education, Mr. Hockenberry, faculty, honored guests, parents, and members of the graduating class of 2024, welcome. Each year I sit down and I think on how to send you off to your next phase in life. This has been very unique for me that I'm a little bit more personally vested than in past years. I've been able to speak to 8th graders over the past couple academic award ceremonies, reminding them about the journey to high school. I remind them what I tell each incoming group of freshmen. Man, it's going to go really fast, so take it all in. Now today I sit in front of you or stand in front of you to speak about the journey after high school. I don't always get to be right, but I bet if I asked you, did this go really fast? Most of you would give me a resounding yes. Your response, I apologize, but I want you to do a couple things. Never forget how far you've come. Everything you've gotten through, all the times you've pushed on, even when you thought you couldn't. All the mornings you got out of bed, no matter how hard it was. All the times you wanted to give up, but you got through that day. Never forget how much strength you have learned and developed over these past 4 years. If you've been in my office, and many of you have, all good though, you would see that I have inspirational quotes hanging to try to help me keep some things in perspective. I just want to share a couple for this wonderful day. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. It first hit me as a dad because when my son was reading this Dr. Seuss week when he was in 1st grade, I look and I see how much my son and daughter have grown up. I don't know where all the time went. Then I thought of all of you and your families in these past 4 years, who many I've gotten able to know so well. This is one of those times where there's a mix of emotions. Your parents are sitting there probably remembering your first words, your first steps, wondering as I do, where did all the time go? And at the same time, what does the future hold for my son or daughter? Many of you are nervous about your next phase of life and what it presents, while others can't wait to throw your hat up in the air and move on to bigger and better things. Trust me, your parents can't wait either. Many of them already have big plans for your bedroom. I know my daughter does. But again, it will not be about it being over or in the past. It'll be that you'll appreciate that it happened, all the memories that you've created. So my first quote, remember this: life's not fair. No matter what life throws you your way, no matter how unfair it seems, refuse to be a victim. Refuse to be ruled by defeat, pessimism, and negativity. Refuse to quit. Be a warrior and work through whatever life throws your way with courage, love, and positivity. And continually push forward. You are a survivor, and unfairness in life is going to happen. You are stronger than you think, and you're capable of achieving way more than you believe. I want you to compete every single day, knowing that you're not always going to win, but refuse to slow down, to quit. Refuse to make excuses. Failure is guaranteed for all of us. But keep battling, because in the end, you will achieve your goals. You're living in a world right now where hard work will truly pay off. Not everyone is wired to have the grit and determination to make their dreams come true. So every day you wake up, I ask you, compete to be your best. Leaders are not made, they are not born. I apologize. Leaders are made, they are not born. They're made by hard work, which is the price we all must pay to achieve anything worthwhile. So I ask all of you, be a leader, work hard, and have goals that will push you to be the absolute best person you can be, who others will want to follow. Compete and battle, like I said, every day at everything you do to be your very best. Nothing worth having will come easy. It was Nick Saban who once said, it's not human nature to be great. It's human nature to survive, to be average, and just do what you have to do to get by. That's actually normal. When you have to do something good happen, it's a special person that stays focused and keeps on paying attention to details, working extremely hard, and not being satisfied with what they accomplished. I challenge you all, be great leaders, don't be average. Do something you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. Whatever you choose to do after this, make sure it's something you'll love no matter what the ups and downs each day brings. Last one, I promise. The last one's from, last but not least, my best friend always shares a classic one from a movie, Shawshank Redemption. So when I'm down and frustrated, ready to call it a day, they'll say, Dad, I guess it just comes down to one simple choice, really. Get busy living or get busy dying. So live each day, each moment to its very fullest. We all have limited time on this wonderful earth with our friends and loved ones. So instead of thinking of the negative stuff going on in your life, focus on those people and things that bring you joy and smiles. Thank them every so often and try to be that person to someone else. If you really think about it, all those hit every aspect of your life. So on behalf of myself, the faculty, the staff of Poland Seminary High School, I wish this graduating class of 2024, each and every one of you, a successful life, the love of the ones you love and cherish the most, and most importantly, love and respect yourself. You are truly our future, and we wish you the best to one of the greatest classes in my 15 years here. God bless you, and good luck. We will now have the valedictorian address by Mr. Owen Poole.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder, for the introduction, and thank you all for having me here today. As I'm looking around this room, I can't help but feel a little nostalgic, seeing all the familiar faces. I see the proud faces of our family and community members, many of whom I'm lucky to have grown up with. Next to them, I'm catching some younger siblings dying to get out of this burning field house. I see our band members catching their breath after almost an hour of amazing performance. I see Mr. Hockenberry, Mr. Snyder, Mr. Daly, Mr. Okiki, and countless other staff members working here and behind the scenes to make our day run smoothly. I see our board members ready to hand out diplomas, and of course, I see the faces of my classmates, eager to step into this next chapter of their lives. Or maybe just get these weirdly fitting caps off. All this is to say is that even with oddly pointy headgear and a 1,000-degree gym, there's something special about being able to pause and share this milestone together, surrounded by the familiar faces who have been by our sides through all the early mornings, tough tests, and important milestones. Today, we sit surrounded by those we know and love, reflecting on 12 years worth of shared experiences and growth together. It's meaningful, and it's remarkably rare. As we look out into a world that seems increasingly impersonal, It only gives these moments of community more value, where we're able to be wholly present with one another, able to make eye contact, exchange congratulations, and share it with the people who have supported us through it all. To acknowledge that getting here wasn't easy, and sit with the fact that it took determination and resilience to sit in these chairs. I believe that the very connection we feel with each other today is the lesson of my speech. As we take our next steps, let's strive for this feeling. Let's not peak in high school, but let's remember the optimism and excitement we feel for our future, the high levels of engagement and connection we hold in our community. That hope is what our world needs. But at times, it can be hard to come by. Before we could even walk through these doors, we were handed a physically and socially disruptive pandemic. We grew up alongside apps that manipulate and monetize our emotions. In a rapidly changing world, it's easy to get lost in life and let meaningful bonds drift away. There's a constant pressure to not only be our best, but to flaunt our best, to have that trophy, to play that perfect tune, to get into the best school, to make the most money. And sometimes when we chase these superficial things, we detach ourselves from what really matters. It's not always easy to take a step back, and it's certainly not always rewarded. I've met plenty of successful people who achieved what they did for the wrong reasons. I know state champions who made themselves miserable chasing a title, students who attend some of the highest ranked schools in our country, so stressed out they no longer find joy in what they do. We're extraordinarily aware of the world around us. There's that saying that the grass is always greener on the other side. And yes, when we're looking out the window on a sunny day, maybe not today, but a sunny day, that grass seems pretty green. Stick with me here. Let's add in a heavily filtered Instagram feed that perfectly captures all the lawn's green hues, or the picture of a perfect family on Facebook who makes that lawn seem much more lively than our own. We don't have to be celebrities to know that these hypothetical yards aren't necessarily what they seem, but it doesn't stop us from comparing anyway. So as we go our separate ways after today, I'm challenging myself and my fellow graduates to stay personal, to hold on to this feeling of community and connection we're sharing right now, to look around and take in the proud faces of our family and community members, the teachers and staff members who volunteered their time to be here today, a community eager to support us. This moment is living proof that we work best when we work together. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to reminisce about whose resume or Instagram feed looked the most impressive. We're going to remember the friends and the meaningful memories we made, those who invested in us as people, not just numbers. No matter where life takes us, I hope we can all bring this sense of community to the table, the ability to build others up and make them feel truly seen, just as we do today. To close distances, not to increase them. To continue seeking out communities that feel as supported and united as we do today. We're stepping into a world that's big and overwhelming. It's no secret, but we're all in it together. Don't underestimate the power of a simple hello, thank you, or congratulations. It's the small things, those acts of kindness, those simple moments. And as I look out at the faces of our community one more time, I see the eyes of trailblazers, visionaries, and changemakers looking back at me. I know that we'll all go on to make the world a better place, and I'm so excited to see what the future has in store. Thank you, and congratulations once again to the class of 2024.
Great job, Owen. Our commencement speaker today needs no introduction, but I'm going to try my best anyway. He was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio, graduated from Ursuline High School after winning a state baseball championship, and attended St. Bonaventure University on both an academic and baseball scholarship. It was at St. Bonaventure where he led the country in stolen bases for the NCAA Division I and was awarded All-Conference Atlantic 10 outfielder and Atlantic 10 All-Academic Conference player. During his junior year, the university asked him to attend Oxford University's Somerville College in England for one semester, studying English, labor law, and economics. He graduated with honors and a degree in economics. Following college, he signed a contract to play one season of baseball in the Frontier League. Our speaker chose to broaden his service to our country, though, by enlisting in the U.S. Air Force. He became an Air Force officer and was stationed in Little Rock Air Force Base, Arkansas. In his role as a staff officer, he supported presidential visits to Arkansas and also worked on base-wide support of 3 treaty open skies, chemical weapons compliance, and START II treaties. As a commissioned lieutenant in the military, he worked with base-wide support for the Department of Defense, Department of the Air Force, and State Department, the White House Communications Staff, and Secret Service, as well as the Air Force and Marine Advanced Agents. While on active duty, our speaker continued to pursue his interest in government by earning 2 master's degrees in public administration and business from Webster University, St. Louis, Missouri. After leaving his active duty and becoming an Air Force Reserve pilot, he then served as a United States Congressman, Ohio State Senator, and Ohio State Representative. In this capacity, he has sponsored and passed into law the Military Injury Relief Fund, which helps wounded soldiers returning to Ohio, a law to protect the display of the U.S. flag for citizens living in apartments and complexes, and a law that required respectful distances for protests at military funerals. He received the Merle Shoemaker Award for Integrity in Office and was recognized as a Legislator of the Year by the AMVETS and East Central Ohio Education Association in 2004. He received the Legislator of the Year in 2006 from the Ohio League of Sportsmen for his state conservation efforts. With over 30 years of service on active duty, the Ohio Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve, our speaker presently serves as a Joint Staff Officer at the U.S. Southern Command as the Reserve Deputy Director of Operations. He served as a squadron commander of 2 expeditionary airlift combat squadrons overseas and 2 C-130 airlift squadrons at the Youngstown Air Reserve Station. Upon his promotion to colonel, the Pentagon assigned him to be the Pittsburgh Air Force Reserve Station, where he served as the vice commander and interim wing commander for the 911 Airlift Wing. He managed the unit transition from C-130s to C-17 aircraft, commanded 1,700 airmen and women, and was responsible for over $2.3 billion of ground and aerospace assets for the Air Force Reserves. He's completed 11 rotations in support Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom, representing the United States in over 43 countries. He is an instructor and evaluator of pilots with over 4,000 flight hours and 400 combat hours in the Air Force. He's employed by United Airlines as a first officer aboard the Boeing 737 aircraft based in Cleveland with nearly 3,000 flight hours. He's married to Stacy, and you know their 5 kids, all of them Bulldogs. Sarah, class of 2018, Carolyn, class of 2020, Matthew, class of 2024, Leanna, class of 2026, and Emma, class of 2029. It is my absolute honor to introduce our commencement speaker and my good friend, Colonel John Bocherry.
Well, thank you, Mr. Snyder. I want to thank the class of 2024 for this honored invitation to speak at your commencement today. Thank you for the school board for helping make this school what it is today, a beacon for our community. Thank you to the faculty who wake up every day and invest in our children's future. Thank you to the parents for your continuous sacrifice to be a part of and to play a part in your children's education. This investment in their future will help them change the world, and let me begin to tell you how. I remember almost 36 years ago, I was sitting there where you are, wondering about my future, where I might end up. I remember a lot about that day. I remember as a captain of the baseball team delivering a state championship trophy to the school and having to give a speech. I remember being tired and having a headache after a party the night before. I remember having a serious girlfriend who was a junior and ironically dumped me 2 months later when I went to college. But I made the turn. More about that later. I married up and was blessed with 5 little bulldogs who will sit through a commencement just like you're doing today. But of all the things I do remember, I don't have the foggiest idea who our commencement speaker was. And I certainly don't remember a thing that they said. So acknowledging this truth about my task here today as your speaker, if I can't make it memorable or remarkable, I will at least make it brief. So let me be the first to congratulate the class of 2024. Congratulations on a job well done. As you pass this mile marker, in life, you're obtaining a sense of accomplishment. Congratulations, because you have arrived. You have arrived at this day and at this moment in time where there is so much opportunity, so much change, so many challenges ahead of you. As a pilot, we look back and analyze old flight missions that were successful and those that were not. We plan forward so we don't repeat the same mistakes. This world is becoming smaller, faster. Unlike my commencement, today I can send a message to someone on the other side of the world in an instant. A world of change is at your doorstep. And as you sit here today in this moment and look backwards, you see just perhaps 10 decades ago, there were no microwaves or hair dryers or refrigerators. Now, I have 4 daughters, and I can't imagine a world without hair dryers. Talk about human conflict. As we arrive in this moment and look at a lifetime forward, scientists predict that technology will change the world as we know it, where smartphones will become obsolete, and an invisible cloud around us will process our thoughts and wishes by merely thinking about it. Artificial intelligence will create lifelike robots for companionship and help with daily tasks. Scientists predict that human consciousness may be able to be uploaded into a computer, a machine that may even outlive our own bodies. Graduates, as you arrive at this moment, if you arrive at this day, a look back and a look forward may create a great deal of anxiousness. And in fact, the CDC reports that anxiety in children is up almost 80% in the last 10 years. Today, only 9% of young Americans think that our own country is headed in the right direction. And according to an April 2024 Harvard Kennedy School survey, a recent survey poll found that 1/3 of Americans, 34%, said that they would like to move to another country. 50 years ago, that number was well under 10%. And for someone who has served 30 years representing, defending, and delivering a bunch of that American pride around the world and around the globe, I wanted to understand why. So armed with this data, I had a chance to speak to a group of the 2024 graduates, parents. After speaking with them, I remain hopeful, optimistic, and confident that the challenges we face will be overcome by this generation. Parents, your kids said that the biggest challenge they faced was the impact of social media on their own well-being. They said things like, well, it's not real, and people only post the good stuff, creating a perpetual exercise in comparison. That comparison creates anxiety, a sense of frustration, a lack of accomplishment, a sense of lower self-worth. One student said, I mean, if everyone else's life is so good and happy, why are so many kids unhappy? Life on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat just isn't real, according to the class of 2024. But very interesting, the most important point to come from our discussion was that 90% of the kids, when asked what they wanted to pursue as a career, almost all of them chose a career in service to each other. Careers to help others recover from struggles ranging from counselors to psychologists to teachers and nurses. Your children want to use their talents to improve the human condition and in that service, make the world a better place. Graduates, you have arrived at this time where your friends need you, at this time where your community needs you, at this time where your country needs you, at this time where the world needs you. So, what can an old airman like myself leave you that might be memorable? Or more importantly, leave you with a few tools in your toolbox to help you make a better world. I would like to arm you with these tools. Let gratitude be your attitude. A bend in the road doesn't have to be the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. And don't bust the trust. As a member of the world's best Air Force, I have seen places I never dreamed I would see, met people I'd never dreamed I would meet, and done things I never dreamed I would do. The airplanes I flew around the world representing you and our nation helped deliver rice to people in Africa who didn't know if they were going to be alive from one day to the next. Evacuated citizens out of Haiti after a devastating earthquake wiped out their villages. Delivered combat soldiers to the fight in Iraq and Afghanistan, and flew wounded and fallen soldiers home from those conflicts. We have a saying as aircrew who fly aboard the C-130 and C-17s, the workhorses of our military aircraft. From the air and on the ground, we deliver food, cargo, and soldiers. And when that ramp door opens in the back of the aircraft, someone's life is going to change. You're either getting helped or you're getting hit. Either way, it's a projection of our national strength. I saw lives changed every day in the Air Force. The Air Force nurse who saved a young child in the rubble in Haiti, the loadmaster on the C-130 who risked his own life to save a crew after the platform of food got dropped and wedged in the platform, or the life-saving airdrops the President ordered my unit to deliver to Yazidi Christians trapped on Mount Sinjar near the Syrian border. So as you fly away from this moment in time, remember that we can only fly forward, we can't fly backwards. What's going to happen when your ramp door opens? How will you change someone's life? If you Google how many people you meet in your lifetime, it says you'll meet nearly 80,000 people by the age of 73. It says you will look into the faces of 3 million people, have 29 close friends, and 6 will be your closest. Imagine when your ramp door opens, if you could change the lives of just 10 people. And those that you help, they changed another 10 lives, and another 10. In just a few decades, this graduating class can change the lives of over 300 million people and nearly the population of the United States. Go another generation, and changing the lives of just 10 people, you'll be able to save billions, and you'll be on track to changing the world. You might ask, how can I change the lives of 10 people? I'm still trying to figure out my own path. TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat are not giving me a good flight plan. Well, if you don't think you can change somebody's life, you're wrong. I'm confident that you will make a better world. But you don't have to serve in the military like I've done to make people's lives better. It doesn't matter your position in life, your race, your ethnicity, your gender, or your status. Our struggles in this world are similar. And psychologists say that our happiness is strongly related to the happiness of others. What would the world look like if you changed it? Well, I'm confident it will look better. Let me give you this lesson from 30 years of experience of leading people that can help you make a better world. Let gratitude be your attitude. In every airplane, there's a very important flight instrument called an attitude indicator. That flight instrument has a small airplane that tells the pilot whether they're in a bank, left or right, whether they're in descent or in a climb. It's the primary flight instrument on an airplane that tells you if the trees are getting bigger, you're in a bad attitude, right? You got to add power. You got to add power and climb away. If you see blue sky, you're flying high, and your attitude is good. When flying around the globe, often to some of the most godforsaken places on the planet, delivering relief, evacuating people, we were grateful that we rarely stayed there. Grateful when those doors opened, those ramp doors opened, we were helping change the lives of people who needed it. I remember flying missions for the U.S. Embassy in the Middle Eastern country. The U.S. ambassador invited us to a tour of the local schools and the government buildings, and I recall the ambassador talking about how this school was the best in the country and produced some of the best students. Seeing only boys at the school, I asked where the girls attended class. Well, he informed us women don't go to school in this country. I'm grateful that my daughter has had the chance to go to school in this country, graduate from Poland, graduate from college, and become professionals. One of your graduates was born 2 days before I left on my last rotation to Iraq and Afghanistan. I remember sitting in a bunker with a helmet on and a Kevlar vest after the airfield had come under attack, overcome with my own anxiety and nervousness about making it home to see him and my family grow up. I'm grateful today that I'm here to be a part of your commencement, Matthew. It only takes one trip outside the borders of this country to figure out how blessed you are to live in this country and to have the opportunity in front of you, which is boundless. When you think you're headed to the ground and the trees look bigger and your attitude looks worse, add a little bit more power. Be thankful of your gifts and talents because gratitude fixes your attitude. Number 2, a bend in the road doesn't have to be the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. The fall before my senior year at St. Bonaventure University, the first snowfall in western New York in late October or November, each dormitory forms their own army of snowballers. You'd have Shea Dormitory charge Falconia, Devereux Hall charged the Friary, and believe me, it was like a Revolutionary War battle, hand-to-hand combat in the middle of campus with kids getting their face buried in snow and hit with snowballs. Franciscan friars would attend this. You know, they would be in their brown robes and their sandals. They even participated. And I threw this snowball so hard and plowed this priest with a snowball in his forehead. He came at me and tried to trip me over his leg. I broke my foot because it was in a pothole. About 3 months before we were headed to Florida on a baseball trip. He gave me the sacrament of confession on the spot because I was cussing like a sailor that day. Coach was not happy. I had just won the NCAA stolen base title, made all-conference team, and I was named in Streets and Smith baseball. But I thought my career was over. And I thought it was over, and I thought I was done. But with a little encouragement from the friar who busted my leg, my teammates, my family, I stayed positive. I worked hard to get back in shape. And when I did get back to playing, I wasn't happy about moving from center field to left field, but I was playing. And I finished my senior year, and I signed a contract. A bend in the road doesn't have to be the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. While on active duty, I wanted to fly. And the recruiter said to me, "We have the perfect job for you." After signing the paperwork to go to officers training school, they notified me I was going to be an ICBM nuclear weapons launch officer. You know, the guy that turns the key and ends the world. I said, I don't want to do that. I want to fly airplanes. Luckily, they had just signed the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, and while at OTS, they reassigned me for my first base. I passed my pilot training test on the 3rd and final try. I applied for pilot slot on active duty, and the world's most lethal Air Force lost my test scores. So the first year I missed it. The second year, they were taking only 50 pilots because of a reduction in force. They were actually kicking pilots out of the Air Force. I didn't get it. There was this real jerk who worked for the general. He was an executive officer, and he said, look in my face. He said, "You're never going to be a pilot." I often felt like giving up, but encouragement from my family and a little perseverance allowed me to push on. Bumping up against my age limit, the Ohio Air National Guard offered me a slot, 1 month ahead of the age limit. Just a few years later, I'd fly some of the nation's senior leaders out of combat. Out of Iraq, Secretary of State Colin Powell, future presidential candidates John McCain and Hillary Clinton. I'm a pilot today because someone helped me with a little encouragement. A bend in the road doesn't have to be the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. Number 3, Don't bust the trust. Measuring trust in the military is about life and death. We trust the flight engineer performing all the safety checks before takeoff. We trust the loadmaster that he ran the correct numbers so that we loaded the aircraft correctly and we're in the center of gravity limits. We trust that the pilots studied their emergency procedures in case of an engine that might stop running. A motivational author by the name of Simon Sinek, he researched Navy SEAL Team 6, arguably the highest performing military unit on the planet. And he asked them, how do you find the right people to lead this important group? Simon tells a story how the Marines drew him a graph. And on one axis they had performance, and on the other they had trust. Trust and performance. Performance being your skill set, your ability to harness the mission and get the job done. Trust being those tangible skills off the battlefield. Can I trust you with my money? Can I trust you going out with my girlfriend? SEAL Team 6 said, everyone wants a candidate who is a high performer with high trust. No one wants the low performer that you can't trust. SEAL Team 6 said they would rather have someone with low performance and high trust rather than a high performer that you can't trust. So, in the battle, you have to trust that the person next to you has your back. In fact, high performers you can't trust are often toxic to an organization, a team, or a unit. There has to be trust in everything that we do. Trust is the intangible that survives chaos and conflict. You will make mistakes. You will fail. You will make bad decisions. Own them. Don't bust the trust given to you, because trust is like a fine piece of china. Once dropped and shattered, it can be glued back together, but you'll always see the lines. To the class of 2024, you are moments away from graduating and beginning your journey. You're about to spread your wings and fly. How will the world change when your ramp door opens? Help to deliver hope. Lift up those in need. If you want to change the world, take some risks. Never give up. Let attitude be fixed by your gratitude. And remember that a bend in the road doesn't have to be the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. And remember, trust is the intangible. Don't break the trust. I'm confident when you're armed with these tools that you will change the lives of at least 10 people, and in doing so, make the world better. Good luck and Godspeed as you take on your next flight.
That was fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Bocherry. At this moment, I would like to acknowledge Ms. Bocherry's service, commitment, and support to the class of 2024, as he shared his words of wisdom with us all today. With this being said, on behalf of the class of 2024, we would like to present you with this token of appreciation.
Great job, Mr. Bocherry. Appreciate you coming. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Craig Hockenberry, Poland Superintendent, for a few words.
All right, everybody. Today's a great celebration and a great way to honor all of our wonderful graduates. The tradition and excellence of Poland Seminary High School obviously dates back to the early 1800s, and it's impressive to say the least. The class of 2024 earned over $2.9 million in scholarships. Congratulations. Sure. 62,000 of those dollars came from local companies and local supporters of Poland, so congratulations. Good. Our graduates this year will be attending 40 different colleges and universities, trade schools. Some will go to the United States military, and the rest will be populating the entire valley in the workforce. Poland Seminary High School ranks in the top 11% of all the schools in the state of Ohio. We rank in the top 10% in the United States. So this graduating class, again, is one of the most highest achieving classes in the country. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you, your parents, all the staff. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right. Board of Education President, members of the board, and Mr. Hockenberry. The seniors before you today have all completed the graduation requirements of the state of Ohio and the Poland Board of Education. I will now ask Mr. Mike Daly, Assistant Principal, to call the class roll and for our seniors to come forward and receive their diplomas. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Poland Board of Education and the administration and staff of Poland Seminary High School, it is my honor to announce the names of the graduates on this day, the 25th of May, 2024. As we prepare to call the names of our graduates, we ask that everyone respect a long-standing tradition of Poland Seminary High School and display respect for one another by refraining from clapping, yelling out, or making any noise during this formal part of the ceremony. Each family deserves to clearly hear the name of their graduate. We will all applaud for the class as a whole at the conclusion of the calling of the names. Thank you. Matthew Butch, valedictorian. Michael Corpheus, valedictorian. Helen Farr, valedictorian. Cole Fulton, valedictorian. Maddie Garwood, valedictorian. Camden Goman, valedictorian. Isabella Corey, valedictorian. Matthew Matiste, valedictorian. Owen Poole, valedictorian. Ryan Snyder, valedictorian. Leanne Williams, valedictorian. Nadia Zarba, valedictorian. Vince Zaccaro, valedictorian. Andrew Todd, salutatorian. Lindsay Anderson. Alexis Antal. Aiden Baker. Naomi Beecham. Giovanni Beato. Isabella Bertolacchi. Catherine Biggs. Connor Blumel. Matthew Bocheri. Mary Brandt. Caden Buck. Liam Burke. Austin Bouchaw. Paul Cantor, Jr. Caden Catcott. Michael Chambers. Owen Corey. Stephen Koss. Carter Daniel. Lucia Davis Karamidas. Madeline Dawson. Christopher Denny. Caden Dennis. Jason DePascal. Elias Dimandis. Ryan DeLulo. Olivia D'Annunzio. Cole Eaton. Emma Eby. Bridget Ekman. Antonius Eftemu. Dominic Elia. Brian Ferguson. Michael Fitzpatrick. Jaden Ford. Kayla Forsyth. Lawrence Frengus. Nina Gordon. Christina Gray. Paul Greco. Ariel Grisho. Parker Groman. Ali Grope. Logan Hackstead. Sydney Henderson. Adriana Hink. Ethan Ho. Hayden Hops. Michael Hunter. Caitlin Hupp. Jacob Jenkins. Abigail Jones. Mason Jones. Raya Caden. Kylie Capix. Tegan Keel. Ellie Kim. Calliope Candinas. Andrew Latigo. Samantha Lahart. Vincent Latanzio. Liberty Lavelle. Julia Little. Matthew Lilac. Zachary Lavosky. Allison Lockich. Olivia Loftus. Alexander Lucas. Audrey Madden. George Malis. Isabella Mari. Jay Mason. Nathan May. Paige McGivern. Alexander Medina. Antonio Medina. Aiden Maley. Marco Malillo. John Daniel Mimo. Sydney Mexinger. Madison Myers. Olivia Newville. Daniel Natoli. Josie Norris. David Olson. Lucas Oslin. Dominic Pagano. Matthew Paparotis. Caden Paris. Bianca Patron. Natalie Patterson. Mia Phipps. Joshua Pondoff. Alexandra Pushkar. Gabriella Pushkar. Caitlin Roberts. Nelson Rogers. Gabriella Rondon. Jake Rothenbuehler. Carliana Rudzik. Ava Sabrin. Vincent Sonato. Tyler Sanders. Maya Scott. Ava Sellers. Lauren Shaw. Charles Sines. Jet Selena. Taryn Soul. Giovanna Spezial Retort. Jonathan Steed. Alexander Stefik. Jacob Steffens. Ryan Sternberg. Luke Thomas. Aiden Thompson. Gianna Vagnarelli, Chelsea Ulrich. Sorry. Gianna Vagnarelli. Kyle Varkonda. Jason Vuksanovich. Connor Waters. Grace Weimer. Jake Raderick. Richard Yace. Robert Zedeker IV. Jacob Zura. All graduates, please rise. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Graduates, please move your tassels and remain standing for the playing of the Poland Seminary High School alma mater. You are dismissed.